Sub-Saharan Africa fits the narrative better when the map looks like this. Then they can convince you that below the Sahara is third world, uncivilized and poor. Then you can adopt a bottom mentality and an inferiority complex.
You're probably wondering what all of this has to do with social equality. When Mercator maps exaggerate the importance of Western civilization, when the top of the map is given to the Northern Hemisphere and the bottom is given to the Southern, then people will tend to adopt top and bottom attitudes.
But wait, where else could you put the Northern Hemisphere but on the top?
On the bottom.
How?
Like this.
Complex. Because you adopt that bottom mentality, you always treat your environment like trash and you are always trying to run away, while everyone else above the Sahara, the Arabs and the Europeans, adopt a superiority complex over you. The idea of the term Sub-Saharan is to cut you off your civilization. A civilization that your great-grandfathers built with their own hands, with the same knowledge that they used in the Monomotapa Empire. But if they cut the oldest civilization, the Nile Valley civilization from ancient Egypt or Kemet, out of your history, then they are winning the psychological battle, because unfortunately you believe that the grass is always greener on the other end. But I'll tell you what, the ancients knew what they were talking about when they saw the direction the river Nile was flowing. The ancients knew enough to recognize what is superior and what is inferior. And it's no wonder the Greeks and Romans who came to Africa to study all this part of Africa, Ethiopia superior, or sometimes called Egypt superior. The lower part of Africa is called Ethiopia inferior or Egypt inferior. But the German psychologists at the University of Göttingen knew that once you leave Africans with that psychological advantage after slavery, the tables will turn very quickly. That if you let the magnificent African know how he ruled and conquered Europe for 800 years, if you let the gallant African know his contribution to the Indus Valley, that if you let the gallant, brilliant, intelligent African know his contribution to the Indus Valley civilization, or what we call the Harappan civilization, the world will be at his feet in no time at all.
So going back to the history, what is the connection between India and Africa? I think by now probably a lot of people know, because I've asked that question several times, that India used to be called long time ago Eastern Ethiopia. Everybody knows that, right? No? Yes. Okay. Yes. Yes. You also probably heard there is a big river in India called Ganges. Okay. To be frank, till 2 years back, I did not know what the meaning of the word Ganges. I simply know Ganges is Ganges. Do you know the name Ganges is one of the strongest and famous emperors of Ethiopia? That's right. Do you think some crazy Aryans would name a big river in India after an African emperor? Would not. Simple logic says that. In southern part of India, a particular god is being worshipped by the local people. His name is Murugan. He is always on top of the hill. And you go back to Eastern Africa, even today, for more than 25 tribals worship a god which is on the hill. His name is Murungu. Now obviously there's no connection between these two people over 7,000, 8,000, 10,000 years. So I'm trying to bridge the gap. There is a distinct and clear connection between the ancient India and the ancient Africa. And that is where I want to go back to the Indus Valley civilization. I think most of you would have heard that, or maybe would have studied in school, which is as ancient as the Egypt Nile Valley civilization. The original inhabitants or the original creators of the Indus Valley civilization, which is also called Mohenjo-daro and Harappa, or Harappan civilization, was created by the black man. People came from Africa. About 7,000 BC, which is 9,000 years back, maybe even earlier than that. They brought agriculture, they domesticated most of the animals, they were highly civilized, they had two-story buildings, sanitation systems, sewage system, they had a built-in screening system in the sewage so the solids would not block the liquid passage. They had chutes so they can drop the garbage from the upper level to lower levels. They had individual wells. They had courtyards. Highly civilized conditions they were living. They're very peaceful agricultural people. Very well flourishing civilization. This is the original black people. Then about, I think, 5,000 BC, small groups of people from Mediterranean started coming into Indus Valley. The Indus Valley I'm referring right now, if you could imagine Pakistan, and that is where the original Indus Valley people lived. Harappa and Mohenjo-daro, those are two main cities that they lived. And that was not discovered till I think 1846 or something by the British. Before that we did not even know that we had a civilization. The British, obviously they were trying to build railway lines and they stumbled into the civilization.
Told that if you let the African know who the first people in Japan were, the Ainu or the Masaba Negroes from eastern Uganda and western Kenya, in that area or region around Mount Elgon, the world will be at the feet of the Africans in no time at all. Now subscribe and turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next video.